Hi all, welcome to this video on operational amplifiers. In this video, I'm going to discuss about one application of operational amplifier, that is a square wave generator or a square wave oscillator. So this square wave oscillator comes under non-sinusoidal oscillators. You are well known about the sinusoidal oscillators such as Colpit oscillator, Hartley oscillator, Weinbridge oscillator, etc. These oscillators generate sine waves at the output, but in the case of square wave generator, it will be generating a square wave, and that is why it is called a non-sinusoidal oscillators. And square wave finds its application in digital systems, because in any digital system there will be ones and zeros, and any transition between 1 and 0 is essentially a step function or a square wave. There are other applications like pulse width modulation or in timing circuits, etc. So anywhere and everywhere in digital circuit, you can see pieces and bits of square wave signals there. So that is why we need to learn about generating square waves. So let us see how it is done. This is our op-amp square wave generator circuit. I have to mention a little bit about the circuit before we go into the derivation regarding this. So you can see that a feedback is provided from the output to the non-inverting terminal, and as a result this is a positive feedback case, because it's not provided to the inverting terminal, it is provided to the non-inverting terminal through resistor network R2 and R1. Okay, so this V1 will be a function of VO, the output, and you can see that at the other side, at the inverting terminal, there is a capacitor whose voltage is going into the inverting terminal. So there is a feedback here also. You can see the capacitor is charging from the output through a resistance, and you can see the capacitor's voltage is applied to this. Here how it works is like this. Suppose your capacitor is of 0 volt. So the inverting terminal is 0 volt at a potential equal to 0. But due to the output offset voltage, there can be stray voltages like that. So the output offset voltage, suppose it is a positive voltage, then that will generate a small positive voltage at V1, okay, at the non-inverting terminal. So you can see that the V1 is at a slightly higher potential than Vc. So the non-inverting terminal is having higher potential than the inverting terminal. This will drive the output of the op-amp to positive saturation. So now it is at positive saturation, and you can see a voltage is again applied at the non-inverting terminal through these two resistive networks, and that voltage is also positive. And similarly, this voltage which is at positive saturation, that will try to charge the capacitor to its own voltage. So the capacitor will try to charge to the positive saturation through this resistance. So there will be a RC network here. Okay, so that capacitor, due to capacitor's action, it will slowly increase its output voltage, its voltage Vc, and that voltage is slowly increasing, and it reaches a point when this V1 when compared with Vc is slightly lesser. So this Vc is greater than V1. So when Vc is greater than V1, the op-amp is driven to negative saturation. It immediately goes to negative saturation. Okay, so now it is at negative saturation, and you can see that the capacitor tries to charge to a negative voltage from the output. So it derives from the output through the resistance. And here the V1, in this case when VO is at negative saturation, it becomes a negative voltage. So it will be waiting for a condition where this capacitor's voltage will go just below V1 by charging to a negative voltage here. So this negative voltage will be charging the capacitor and trying to make equal to the negative saturation. But the capacitor's output is connected to the operational amplifier, and when it is comparing it with the non-inverting terminal, it can see that the voltage difference between this will be decreasing. That is, Vc will get reduced and it will go below V1, In such a way, it will drive the output of the op amp to positive saturation again, and it will again oscillate. So it goes to positive saturation, it goes back to negative saturation, it goes again to positive saturation. So it is a play between V1 and VC. VC increases and covers above V1, VC decreases and covers below V1. So it goes, the output goes to positive and negative saturations. So let us see how this is happening. The core of this is this circuit, there is a voltage which tries to charge the capacitor through a resistance, and this is called a RC network. So we need to see the RC network a little bit deeply. So this one is a DC voltage which is connected to an RC network through a switch. So when I press this switch, then at that moment itself the capacitor will try to charge. So suppose if this is at a particular voltage also, it will try to charge to Vi, and while it does, it takes some time, and that time is called time is related to something known as a time constant for this circuit. We will be discussing it shortly. So when I apply this voltage, then it will start to charge to Vi voltage, but it must be evident that the capacitor takes some time to charge, and the charging of the capacitance is not like a linear function, it is an exponential thing. It takes infinite amount of time to charge exactly to the voltage that is applied. So in practical cases, we will be approximating in very short interval. We will be getting, depending upon the RC time constant, we will be getting a almost filled capacitor, but exact voltage will not be transferred to the capacitor, and that exact voltage will only be transferred at time t equal to infinity. Okay, so let us see what is happening here. You can see a differential equation working in this when you apply this switch. So let me write it down. So it will be like the input voltage is equal to the voltage across the resistance plus the voltage across the capacitance, and we can write the voltage across the resistance as like this: input voltage is equal to I of t, that is current times resistance, plus Vc of t. So these two are functions of time, and we can say that if there is a current that is flowing through this network, then the current through the capacitor is equal to the current through the resistance. So you can write this I of t as I of t is equal to, so I am substituting that, so we get Vi equal to, this is an ordinary differential equation, and you can solve this for a solution for the capacitor's voltage like this: k e raised to minus t by RC plus A. We are going to use this equation in our derivation for the frequency of the square wave generator. Before that, we need to see what is V1 and all. So V1 can be considered as a case of potential divider arrangement here. So you have VO here, and a current can start from here to the ground. That current cannot go to the op amp's input because of high input impedance, so that will be entirely going to the ground. So you can say that the voltage V1 is equal to the applied voltage VO divided by total resistance R1 plus R2. So this will give you the current. So this is voltage divided by resistance, that will give you the current that is flowing through the entire network, series R1 R2 network. So that is the current that is flowing through the network times the resistance. So when you multiply this resistance, so this is the current that is flowing through this resistance, so you can multiply this resistance with that current, and that will give you the voltage through that particular resistance. And I can rearrange this so that it is like R1 divided by R1 plus R2 times VO, and this R1 divided by R1 plus R2 can be written as beta VO. So it is a fraction of the output voltage that appears as a non-inverting terminal. Now let us apply the case of inverting terminal. So here you can see the capacitor, and we are going to find out what is VC and all. Okay. So VC can be written like this. VC is equal to, as per our previous equation, K times e raised to minus T by RC plus A. So we need to find out what is K and A. Okay. And in order to find that out, we need to apply some boundary conditions. Here you can see that at time t equal to 0, the output voltage will be at minus VO. Okay. So it is at minus VO, it will be jumping to plus VO, but it is at minus VO, and at that moment the capacitor's output voltage will be minus beta VO. Okay. So the capacitor's output voltage at that point, that is at t equal to 0, our VC will be equal to minus beta times VO, or it can be plus beta times VO, depending upon which oscillation is going to happen at t equal to 0. So suppose if this is the condition, then we can apply it here. We will get something like this. So this is minus beta VO equal to K times e raised to 0 plus A. Thus you get minus beta VO e raised to 0 is 1, so it is equal to K plus A. You can write this as, the next boundary condition is like at t equal to infinity, our output voltage will be charged to VO. So at this point you have a change of plans, that is at t equal to 0 you have some change of plans, that is the output goes to positive saturation, it continues on positive saturation, and if the output voltage is kept at VO till infinity, then the capacitor voltage will attain the voltage of output voltage. So we can write the capacitor's voltage as VC equal to VO. So when you substitute that in this equation, then you can write it as like this. The capacitor voltage is equal to VO, which is equal to K e raised to minus infinity, which is going to be 0, plus A. So this term is 0. So you get A is equal to VO. So we have this, and you can substitute that in this equation so that you get K. So what is K? K is equal to minus beta VO minus VO. Okay. So from here you can write this as, we will be substituting 2 and 3 in VC, and we will be getting VC is equal to VO minus VO, VO minus VO, 1 plus beta e raised to minus t by 2. 1 plus beta e raised to minus t by RC. And we can take out VO. So VO is taken out. It is like 1 minus 1 plus beta e raised to minus t by RC. So this is our equation for VC. Now we can apply the condition t equal to t by 2. So it is a condition when it switches to the negative saturation. So what happens at t equal to t by 2? So let us analyze that. At t equal to t by 2, the VC will be equal to, say at this point, the VC, the voltage at this point has reached almost equal to the beta times output voltage. So we will be writing at t equal to t by 2, our VC is equal to beta times VO. So I will be writing beta times VO equal to VO 1 minus 1 plus beta e raised to minus t by 2rc, and we can cancel VO and we'll be getting beta equal to, we need to get this e raised to minus t by 2rc on one side, 1 plus beta e raised to minus t by 2rc equal to 1 minus beta on the other side, and we can take this 1 plus beta to the other side, so it will be e raised to minus t by 2rc equal to, taking logarithms on the both sides, you'll be getting log e raised to minus t by 2rc equal to log e raised to will get cancelled and you'll get minus t by 2rc equal to, and you can substitute for beta, that is beta is equal to r1 by r1 plus r2. So beta is equal to r1 by r1 plus r2. I'll write it down here. Beta is equal to r1 by r1 plus r2. So I'm going to substitute that here. T by 2rc will be equal to this, and from here you can find out what is t. So t is equal to minus 2rc natural logarithm of r2 by 2r1 plus r2. When you take this negative sign into the logarithm, it will get inverted and you get, now imagine if the thing inside the brackets here is equal to e raised to 1. Okay, now we can just take r2 to the other side, so it will be like e raised to 1 times r2 equal to 2r1 plus r2. It's like r1 is equal to e raised to 1 minus 1 r2 divided by 2. You can see that r1 is equal to, when you substitute for e1 e raised to 1, that is 2.718 minus 1 divided by 2 r2, and you can find r2 is equal to 1.16 r1. So when you take this and put it inside here, then you get t is equal to 2rc logarithm of, then this fraction leads to e raised to 1, and you get t equal to 2rc log e raised to 1. So the frequency in this case will be 1 by t, which is equal to 1 by 2rc. So this is our final equation for frequency. So suppose when you are putting the resistances R2 and R1 in such a way, R2 is equal to 1.16 times R1. So R2 and R1 are resistances are this one and this one. This is R and C. So these two resistance, this resistance and capacitance are frequency determining components. R1 and R2 will make your life much easier without any logarithms. So this is how you can design a square wave generator. One thing we need to understand in this is the voltage waveforms of the output as well as the capacitor. So I am going to plot the output waveform as well as the capacitor's waveform as overlay. So I'll be plotting the output waveform like this. So this red colored waveform is your output waveform. It goes between positive saturation and negative saturation like this. The capacitor's waveform will be like and this voltages will be marked like this. This is positive saturation voltage, this is negative saturation voltage, and this will be V1 and this will be minus V1. So V1 is beta times VO, and minus V1 is similarly V1 here will be minus V2 times VO. So it will be oscillating like this. So this is the capacitor voltage RAM, and this is the output voltage. So we can even do one additional thing in this, that is by putting two Zener diodes back to back here. Both of these Zener diodes are of having same breakdown voltage. So whether it be positive saturation or whether it be negative saturation, it will be clipped at the Zener voltage that is present here. So according to this, your output voltage will be equal to plus Vc or minus Vc. It will not be saturation voltage. So you can limit the output voltage. So now without the diodes, it will be like V saturation and minus V saturation, but with diodes it will be limited to V Zener and minus V Zener. So you can limit the output voltage in this case. With this, we reach the end of this discussion, and we have completed discussions on operational amplifiers. We will be seeing a new topic, a new module on the next video onwards. So thank you all.